They called him Germany's golden boy. In the summer of 1936, the Berlin Olympics were more than just a sporting event. They were a stage for Nazi pride. Flags waved, crowds roared, and cameras rolled as Adolf Hitler smiled from the stands. And among the athletes, one man stood out, Hans Woell. Tall, disciplined, and fearless. Hans wasn't just competing. He was representing an entire nation's dream of power and perfection. He ran like the wind, trained like a soldier, and carried himself like a symbol of the new Germany. When he won his race, the stadium shook with applause. Newspapers called him the pride of the Reich. Even Hitler congratulated him personally, a moment that could have made any man proud. But Hans Woell saw something the crowd did not. Behind the cheers, he saw the soldiers. Behind the flags, he saw the fear. He watched as friends disappeared for questioning. He heard whispers of camps, of men and women taken in the night. And slowly, pride began to turn into guilt. Hans started to speak quietly at first. He told his teammates that no victory was worth the blood of the innocent. He refused to take part in Nazi propaganda videos. He ignored orders to appear in rallies. In a time when silence meant survival, Hans chose truth. That truth came at a cost. By 1942, the same newspapers that once praised him now called him a disgrace to the fatherland. He was arrested for anti-state remarks, interrogated, beaten, broken but not silent. In his cell, he wrote his final words on a torn piece of paper. A real hero is not one who fights for a flag, but one who stands for humanity. On a cold winter morning, Hans Woell was executed quietly without trial. The man who once carried Germany's pride now carried its shame. After the war, his story was buried under rubble and lies. His medals vanished, his name erased from records. But years later, a historian in Munich found his letters, hidden in an old box marked Olympic files. Inside were his confessions, his doubts, and his last message of courage. Today, Hans Woell is remembered not as a traitor, but as a man who stood alone against madness. A hero who didn't fight with weapons, but with conscience. He was the Olympic champion